and just for showing up and on time. Just clap hands for yourself for being on time. Thank you so much. Now, before we start, I would love for you to just greet your neighbor and just get to know them a little bit. If you came with that person, please change locations. Until when you can't sit together, just there's someone else sitting between you guys and okay, now I'm just getting to the crowd. You guys come together. You want to that something can take that? You two come together. Me? No, don't. Perfect. Okay, so now we are starting. Welcome to Conversations on Purpose and Confidence, hosted by Trailblazing with Consolata, where I am Consolata. Alright, so I'm not going to waste time. We've tried waiting for other people, but they're still not here. So I'm just going to, welcome our panelists onto the stage so that we get the ball rolling. So I'm going to start with Coach Neti Tanga. Woo! She is a young female, aged 24 years old, just 24. She's passionate about women and youth empowerment. She's also a talk show host for Transformational Talks with Lady Tanga, which seeks to empower young people to change their mindset and change their lives. She is also the founder of Connect with Mentors, an organization that mostly focuses on mentorship and career guidance. She is also the vice president at Global Youth Toastmasters. I mean, guys, that's really big. You had to apply and to go to an interview for you to be part of the Toastmasters club. Yeah. But now, the fact that she's actually vice president, that's really, really big. So she is a volunteer at Christ Ministries Children's Home, and she helps seeking donations, and she comes up and does empowerment programs as well that can help the children survival after they leave the children's home. So let us welcome her. All right. Up next, we have Wadzanai Adeline Masunda, commonly known as the Destiny Promoter. See, the thing about bios is that you have to write them in third person, but you're writing on your own, this is what she wrote about herself. She says, is a multifaceted woman who thrives on the mantra called for more. That's the intro. Imagine that. As a leadership enthusiast, she is passionate about purposeful living for building lasting legacies. It is on this basis that she has partnered and pioneered a number of community development initiatives that aim to promote destinies while unleashing greatness within individuals. This radical kingdom influencer believes her ministry is determined to promote kingdom culture in every sphere of her influence. From this bedrock, she pioneers a dynamic movement of young people called Greater Waves Generation. I've been to her events, where we had a dinner last year, and also a networking event. It was so beautiful and so powerful, and we requested for other ones as well. So her special interest also stretched to women and youth empowerment, philanthropy, entrepreneurship, and the wholesome field of arts. She has written a book titled Prepared to Prevail, Discovering the Essence of Preparation. Academically, she holds a first class Bachelor of Technology honors degree in forensic accounting. Okay, just let me I wanted to go to school, but then I just perused through school, and first class, but anyway. She's currently working as an auditor and a Supreme Audit Office of Zimbabwe. So let's welcome. And then we have our panelists, one of the most handsome men that I know. Yes. All right, Theophilus Tawanashe, who is a motivational speaker whose mission is to empower through knowledge. His work stretches from 2018 and his flagship Youth of Purpose seminar designed to help young people discover their purpose. He is also a holder of a BTech honors degree from the Harare Institute of Technology in e-commerce, right? Yeah. In addition, he's also a digital marketing and innovation specialist, director of ceremonies, brand strategist, amongst other things. Let us clap hands. All right, okay, let's get started. Are you guys ready? You're ready. Okay. This is amazing. Now, all right, so this is how we're going to be doing it. I will obviously start like asking them questions so that we just start the conversation. But you guys can ask questions even in between the conversation, right? So you stand up, you introduce yourself so that we all get to know you, and then you ask your question. So, to our coaches of the day, our panelists, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling? Nancy, how are you feeling?
I'm so excited to be here. Okay, I'm very excited to be here, and thank you so much for having me. I would have to acknowledge that I'm so proud of this kind of work. This is this team.
Yeah.
Yes, we are also married to technology. I say a lot of places as well. So, Untitled Technology is doing the most.
No, it's okay.
No, all are working, but like one mic is for your sister. Because that's the echo.
So you can switch on your water.
Alright.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, water.
Afternoon. Thank you. Prophetic morning to everybody of your life. I'm good. I'm okay. It's a good day. I love conversation. I won't share all my time like that. I love when I realized that the very creation of man began as a conversation. It was when God said, let us make. So I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Hello everyone.
Hi, Theo.
I'm so much excited to be in this place.
Hold on. These people are pretending. Someone is like,
Oh, yeah.
but it's fine. She can go on.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy and I'm really expecting a lot. I was preparing so much for this day because I'm one person who loves to talk about purpose. I feel there are lots of mysteries around purpose. And I'm here with so much excitement and I just cannot wait for everyone to engage in this conversation.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm sure we know them a little bit. And for you to be here, I'm sure you know at least one of us that like drew you to the function. So I really hope that you engage, you like really go deep in there, because now we're starting a conversation that I believe is going to change our lives and like really fuel that desire to, go after purpose. So I'm gonna start with with Theo. She whispered Theo. Okay, with Theo. How do you define purpose? Like what do you say is purpose? What is your definition? There are several definitions that we have. Like Pastor Requiring says, it's the reason why God created you, why you are alive, but what is your definition?
Well, my definition doesn't go beyond reason for existence. You are here because of a reason. So once you get to know that you are not just here on earth to exhaust oxygen and eat and do all the other daily things, for me, I believe that's purpose. I know there are lots of definitions around purpose, but for me, when I look at myself and then I say, I am an individual, I exist. But what is the reason as to why I wake up every day? Why is it each and every morning when I bath, eat my breakfast, go to work and do each and everything that I do? What's the ultimate reason or what's the ultimate goal as for me doing all those things? Once I get to have that defined in my life, I believe
Well said.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful definition. Like, okay, before we go into the conversation, we are having an Instagram live. So for your friends and family that's not present here, maybe just go on my page at Consolata, or one person can post in the conversations group that we created, so that you may share all your status, share with family and friends. So I'm just going to give us a minute to do that. The live is live on it, Consolata, and then we also put our phones on silent.
So you understand that the makers or the manufacturers of this very mic, they first had a why before it was there. So when you ask the why, is the maker of the thing, because they understand the function better. Same as us human beings, who made us? The Creator. So the question of our why lies within the one who created us. So it's always within the person who has made something. So that's where we ask the why.
Alright, thank you so much. Okay, so is that like from a Christian perspective or it's for everyone in general? Like if I am an atheist, do I still have purpose or because I'm not a follower or a Christian or even a Muslim because still they have God, right? How about if I'm an atheist? Then who tells me what my purpose is?
Alright. It's intentional I use the word creator and not God. Because even an atheist, they still understand that they do not make themselves. So whoever they believe has made them, they can consult them. So they are very the reason of their existence. So it always lies within the creator. Whether in the secular or spiritual world, it always lies within the creator. The manufacturer or the maker of anything. That's when we answer the question of why.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. Does anyone have a question around that? All right. Now, my next question is directed to Courtney. Like, what part of your childhood or the way you were raised, maybe primary or secondary school experiences, helped you to become the person that you are today?
Thank you so much, Coach Conso, for this wonderful question. So my childhood is quite interesting. All I can say is self-acceptance is key. I remember I always say the story. I grew up, I used to hate myself for being a very loud person. Those who know me, I can talk for hours and I don't get tired. I always say that, put out a sheep, because not everyone can have a conversation that can last for more than 10 minutes. So I believe I got to accept my gift or my talent when I went to uni. Because I remember Teacher Dauka, I used to stay in Hostel 1. So Teacher Dauka made me shift my room. And I remember he highlighted this. He said, Nate, it is important for you to share a room with Tanya because I believe to teach you something that will change your life forever. And I back then I took that lightly, and that's when I got to appreciate that they are just because there are people that you meet at a certain point in your life that will change who you are forever. So when I met Tanella Domasai, she's a bigger version of who I am. She's very loud, she's very passionate, she's someone who goes for what she wants. So that 1 year when I got to share a room with Tanella, she made me to appreciate who I was. So she made me realize that there was really nothing wrong in being gifted in speaking. Not everyone is a speaker. And also, I would also credit everyone was around me. Like for example, my former headmaster. I'm actually privileged to have people who can identify with from afar. I never knew I was a leader because I remember when I was in primary, I used to be so it depends on what category and what benefits was I looking for. So when I went to secondary school, I remember Form 3 third term, so that's when they used to select prefects. So it's always a conversation. So what is going to be prefect if she qualifies. But I was actually surprised to be appointed as the vice rector. I didn't know I was capable enough to be vice rector. And I remember I declined that issue. And my headmaster was like, you know what, Nancy, we got you. You need to give this a try. So the one was supposed to be the head girl. She declined the offer. So I was promoted to being a head girl. And I remember my headmaster and all the teachers, they were there to support as well. Fast forward, when I went for A-level Clinical High, I was like, you know what, I didn't like being a prefect because there was a lot of bullying in high school. When you are following rules, rules are rules, and you tell people to follow rules, they will hate you for making them follow those rules. So there was always that hatred there's no way you can decline this offer. So these two people, they actually played a key role in my life, because most of the stuff that I do right now, it's based on leadership. So they showed me that it was possible for me to play leader. So it's also very important to have those kind of referrals from the past. Saying, you know, I was a deputy head coach at a school where the norm is someone is supposed to be the vice head coach or the head coach or the sports director when you've gone through 4 years. I was a newcomer at 6 months when I was there. And the last part, I met one of my lecturers at it. I remember when I went to teach as well. So my life was again on the spotlight when I was in high school. So I didn't like also the backlash. So there's always that thing, you know, people start stories about you know, everything that you do. Everyone has an opinion of how you're supposed to do things. You know, people used to bring like cell phones, you know, and you're supposed to report, and when you report, you're called a snitch. So there was always that struggle around that. So, but rules are rules, you know. At the end of the day, everything in this life, whether we want to admit it or not, is governed by rules. If you want your phone to function, if it doesn't have power, you need to put it on the charger. If you want to come to town, you need it. So everything is governed by a certain principle for it to function. So schools are there for us to learn, and those rules are there to govern the institutions that it can operate perfectly. So at the end of the day, yes, I'm a snitch, but there are rules you need to follow them. So the last part of the story is, so I remember when I applied for uni. So clearly I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do school. So I got an offer at it, and I had no idea what industrial manufacturing engineering was. So when I decided to take industrial manufacturing engineering, I remember I said the statement again to myself: I don't want my life to be on the public spotlight. But you know, God is what is always, because I remember when I did industrial manufacturing engineering, there were only 4 girls in our class and only 2 boys. So the lecturers, so the female lecturers, they always look out for us. So that's where I met one person that until today, I identify as my destiny helper. She's the brains behind the meditana that you talk about right now. So this is why I also like to do the same, because only a few people can put themselves in a position where they hold someone's hand and they make them better than who they are. Because everything that I was doing, it's what she did, but she made me do it better. So I got recognition for some of the works that she did, because I was just the interface, she was the software behind. So yeah, in short, people do actually play a role. Sometimes you need to be a very good student in order to benefit from destiny helpers.
Thank you so much. That was just so powerful. Besides the fact that you were snitched. Like, come on. I love how you acknowledge the role of other people in your journey. I think it's so important, even from our biological parents, from our teachers, like she spoke about my headmaster and the roommates. So from that, I think for me, it's just like, okay, anyone can help me to get to the place that I'm really supposed to get to. Okay, so now I'm getting into the crowds. Can somebody define for us what a mentor is, or like what they think a mentor is? Yes,
Thank you.
yes, like, it's, you know, the world is your oyster. This is do as you will. Okay.
So the question was, what is a mentor?
Yeah.
For me, I would like to define mentors as torch bearers. So basically, they're people who help you. They hold your hand. They don't walk in front of you, but they walk beside you, right? But the difference is they've been to places you have never been to. They light the path so that you see, and it's easier for you to overcome something that they've probably overcome before. Yeah, and probably the other question that may arise is who teaches who learns from who. I think with mentors and mentees, It's a synergy. You synergize your ideas. You give, they give, you take, they take, right? So the important thing is to always maintain the posture of the student in a mentor-mentee relationship, right? So whatever it is that they're giving, be open to receive it. And don't always be the one who's taking. Yeah, because I mean, naturally as human beings, the person's always taking from you, like, girl, yeah. So that's it.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful and you like expanded on it, so thank you so much. Now, to ask Madam Waza, like how have mentors been instrumental in your journey as an individual?
Thank you for that. I think she did a job well done when she said they are torchbearers. For me, mentors have been people who pointed me the direction to go. Because there are sometimes when you find yourself at crossroads, because they have already been there, they have an idea, they have been there before, they're able to tell you. For example, when someone came to Elijah, I'm not trying to go on churchy, but this is a very valid example. He had a new experience, he never experienced it before, but Eli then realized that no, this little boy, what he has had is the voice of God. So that's when he then tells him that, you know what, just answer it. Someone had never been there before, but Eli was not used to the voice, he knew. So that's really how mentors have played their role in my life. They have helped me to realize where they have been before, but they were still new to me. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Thank you so much. Now we want a practical example where you really say, my mentor helped me in this particular way. Like a real practical example.
Alright, I could think of a couple of examples, but there's one lady who played a pivotal role in my life, her name is Cynthia Chirinda. Cynthia Chirinda played a huge role in my life, as well as another one called Coach Tap. Coach Tap helped me to realize this affectionate name of Destiny Promoter. I told him, Coach, you know what? I'm passionate about finding the gold hidden, buried within people. And he said, you know what? I told him, I think I'm a gold digger, but in a good sense. No, sweetie, God is a gold digger because, then that's when he said, you are there to promote destiny. So that's some of the people who have played a huge role in my life. Pastor Cynthia, she that God bless that woman. She helped me to realize the woman that I am today, and that it's okay to be different. It's okay to own who you are. It's okay to be comfortable in your own skin. She's one woman I think who is daring, who's bold, who has gone after everything who is going after what God has called her for. So
That's really beautiful. And I think for me, I've actually met some of the people that they're talking about. So it's beautiful to know that the same people are still making impact to not only one person, but to several other people. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to call two of our panelists forward. Miss Emily Kanya, a lawyer. Please may we clap her hands. As well as Kip Jana Morgan, the modern evangelist. Thank you so much for gracing us with the casual looks. Like, you guys really understood the assignment.
they understood.
Yeah. Thank you. Alright, amazing. I'm sure you guys were listening and tracking. So the first question that I'm gonna ask the two of you is how then, because personally I understand I am Christian and I understand that God speaks to me as an individual. But at times that God also uses other people to speak to me, right? And these are the mentors, these are the destiny helpers, destiny promoters that we're talking about. But how then do I recognize that this is the voice of God speaking through a man and not their own, voice. Like, do you know how someone can just think, okay, I think Fancy would, be a good model and things like that, but it's from their own mind,
Evidently
not
not
from the
me.
mind of God, or it's not like from a good place. So how then do I know that this is a good mentor or this is a good voice that's speaking over my life and not someone who is their personal intention for doing things as a Christian?
Okay. I thought I was going to do this first one. Anyways, let me do it. Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
Okay. So when it comes to mentorship,
She said accent.
I don't know if I'm blushing or something. Okay. When it comes to mentorship, this area is actually the vital point of your life. Why? Because it really matters and tells us where you are going. You know what? We are living in a world where people are running their errands and they've got their visions and stuff. Just in LinkedIn that if you're not careful, people might end up taking you or breaking you in their visions and not giving you time to build up on what you come for. You see. So like what we have discussed earlier, like it is a take in and take out. You give and you take in as well. It's more like it's not one-sided. It goes always around. You see. So when it comes to mentorship, personally as an individual, I go for people that have got interest in what I'm doing. You see, many of us, we go to people that are already doing things that we want to do, but do they have the passion to groom what is in you that is not yet out? Are we together? Yeah. So you need to be able to see the genuine intention of having someone into building you. Like, let me just say a little bit about my mentor. I was moving around in schools creating appointments for him to go and speak to young people. Like, he's a youth person. And that something is my vision. That's my same dream, to speak to young people. We are talking about having a same audience. Yet he is the mentor and I am the mentee. But you see, when we get to the extent is whereby, Pastor, I've been called to go and speak to these young people, and I want you to go. And he's like, oh kid, I was called to Roosevelt to come and preach, can you go? Then you can actually definitely see that there is something that has to do with learning. Are we together? So my emphasis is, don't just go for people who are making it. Don't go and beg for it. Look for people that have got interest in your life. Besides what they are mentoring you about, are they concerned about your health? Are they concerned about other things and stuff? I still remember my pastor was like, I'm putting you on suspension. You're not going to go and preach anywhere. You're not going to go and speak to anyone. Right now, I want you to focus on your books. Yes, I know you've got a dream, you've got a passion and stuff, but we want to put you at face and want to put, are these people concerned about you as a well-being? So the first thing that goes before the business that you guys are doing, are they being concerned about you? Or if we put away everything about the commoners that you have, will these guys or will this mentor keep on being your mentor, or is just more like a contract? I think that's what I can say.
Hi everyone. Hi. I'm Evan, in case you don't know me. So, yeah, by the way, so on Instagram I use that sweet very slowly. I definitely have to say this because sweet very is a Latin term for a class of your own. So if you keep encountering me, you're going to know at least one Latin term that sui generis means in a class of your own. That being said, I'm going somewhere with this. The question was, how do you know that this person's, what they're saying and what they are putting across to you is really from God? So I believe that before you start to see the God that is in the next person, you have to be able to identify the God in you. So many people are in a position whereby
they're able to testify and they're able to talk about the next person. You know, if you see other people say, you know, I like the vibe, I like the confidence, I like, but what do you say about yourself? What do you see in you? Because if I'm going to find a mentor, I'm trying to find, like you were saying, I'm trying to find someone who speaks to what is already in me. So most of us, we see the light of the next person, and we think that the role of the light of the next person is to dim your own light. Because if your light does not enable me to light up my own light, then at the end of the day, we're going to have a problem. But the problem is I cannot identify my light. So taking this from a light perspective, there is a bulb, it's a light. There is a candle, it's a light, right? There is a ring light, it's still a light. And all of those lights, despite what being lights, they have different roles and there's stuff that they do. So it takes a lot for you to be able to first recognize that personally I'm a candle and I'm okay with it. Because I have a role that I play as a candle. And that next person is a bulb, but it's okay. Because they have a role that they're playing. So first of all, you identify who you are. You work on yourself to a point where you're able to see who am I. Find yourself before you try and find the person that can lead you to wherever you're going. And you need to understand that this purpose dialogue, like you were saying, is not only about getting stuff done. It's about knowing who has to get the stuff done. That's why I'm saying you need to know yourself. Because we are more concerned about, okay, this is a youth ministry, for instance, so we're supposed to lead the youth to Christ, we're supposed to do whatever. But it's not all of us in the youth ministry who are supposed to be leading people to Christ. It's okay, I'm not saying we shouldn't be soul winners, for instance, but I'm saying, is that what you're called to? Because what I'm called to, like I'm saying, it connects to who I am. So if I know who I am and I know, you know what I want to do, for instance, is to slay. I will inspire someone in my slaying, but I'm not even preaching, you understand? But because you're more worried to say, maybe this whole slaying business is not really, you know, it's not productive, it's not that inspiring, and you're going to move away from what you should be doing because you feel like, okay, this is not really the serious stuff. It's not all of us are going to be that serious. Inspire someone. No, like it's very serious. No. So if I can identify the God in me, it is the God in me that allows me to identify the God in the next person. Because if I have a relationship with God, I'm able to know certain things from God directly. And then by interacting with the next person, then now it comes down to what I already have inside of me. I already have where I'm going.
Thank you so much for such powerful responses. Like, wow. Guys, are we learning something? Are we learning? All right, amazing. Okay, so now I think we've spoken like what purpose is, how to point yourself or to move in the direction of purpose. But like, how does one really, like practical steps as to how I can know that I am called for this and this and this. Like I read Bibles of the three, and you know, there are people that kind of know the direction that they want to take in life. Like she's connected with mentors. Like what led you to kind of know, or maybe was it an interest, was it something you just loved? Like how do you practically discover your purpose? Who do I start with? Who's ready for this one? How do you like practical steps to help me discover my purpose? Theo?
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Right, yeah, great. So, one thing we need to understand is we are not all destined for the same thing. And for that reason, there is no one size fits all when it comes to finding your purpose. Because we are heading in different directions, we are meant for different things, and that being said, it shows that, you know, okay, I'll say this. We are all in school, right? One wants to graduate in a business administration course, the other one wants to do engineering. We have got different schedules. We have got different courses, we've got different lectures. So that is basically how it is. But that being said as well, the first thing I encourage everyone to do, which my mentor also helped me to do, was to investigate the situation in my life, investigate the things that I have, investigate who I am within. So once you get to know the things that give you sleepless nights, on both terms, pain, joy, that will help you to realize, say, no, because I've got this pain, I always want to solve this pain. Then at least the next person who's going to go through this pain, I also want to help them to heal from whatever that they're going through. At the same time, if you know that there is something that boils inside of you each and every time you hear about it. For example, I'm one person when you talk about innovation, creating things, improving things, making people's lives better, I jump. I literally, I feel excited. But at the same time, I also need to find people who feel the same way. I also need to find people who can also guide me on how to get to where I want to be exactly. So, now you've investigated, now you know what you want. The next thing is to create an environment around you that stimulates your purpose. Create an environment that boosts you, that encourages you, that makes you feel. I was actually talking to other people this afternoon to say, the statement you are an average of the 5 people you hang around with is not a lie.
Yeah.
It's true. Check around it. If you're always complaining about being broke, you realize that some of your friends are also complaining about the same thing. Basically, you're on average. And with environments, you're okay, you're satisfied. But you now need to challenge yourself, your personal status quo, saying, I need to jump out of this environment and place myself in an environment that will grow me. Even a tree does not grow in darkness. Even plants, even flowers, they do not bloom in darkness. Maybe if you've seen flowers that do, maybe it's a practical example. But one thing that I've always, I'm one person who will refer to the Bible. In Genesis chapter 1, the first thing God said was light, which means it was a conducive environment for everything to grow. So if you want your purpose to grow, if you want your existence to be seen, then there has to be light. But again, one thing that I love about the Word of God, I'm sorry I'm about to preach.
Maybe just to ask, are there people that are non-Christian?
Yes.
There is someone who is not a Christian. Like that will help this
For us
teachers giving examples. Alright, so
Okay, thank you so much. So, God said, let there be light, and there was light. And in John, the word of the Lord says that you are the light of the world, right? And now we also see that God is the light. So the light is important because you are the light, but you cannot shine if you do not have another light inside. And at the same time, we also need to realize that when God created the light which was being spoken about, it's not the sun, right? Because further in Genesis, that's when God, it's written that He had to create the sun and the stars and everything like that, which means there is a certain type of light which outshines the sun, which God created first. Are we still together? And you are that light. You also need so you also need to put yourself in an environment where light manifests. And the moment you begin to chase away darkness, because look at this, there was darkness which was in existence. So that means you being a purpose, you having a purpose, you are a light which outshines other lights, number one. Number two, you chase away the darkness. That's the good thing about it. So number one, you have investigated. Number two, you have created an environment, which means you're not able to see where you're going. Which means you're not able to see where you're going. And number three, I would encourage you to see the good things around you. See the good things around you. Make use of those things. We as humans are so good at looking at seeing the things we don't have. And we don't really see the things that we have. The word of God again says. Okay. The word of God says, behold, I give you power. Which means you have the power already inside you. You've already been given it, among other things. Now, you need to make use of the power among other things which are around you. And then, whilst you're using those things that God has already given you, you begin to realize that, no, I prefer using this power to do this. I love, using my skills to do this, to help others, or to write books, to create certain things. I love and enjoy using what I have to heal others. And that will help you. You exercising it and exercising it over and over and over and over again will help you to identify your purpose. But again, you need to understand that you need someone who will guide you. You need someone who will guide you. And in that, you have to identify, like what Keith said, the people who are also interested in what you do. The people who are not threatened by your light. The people who when they see your light, they actually want your light to shine even further. They don't want to keep you in one place. The people who will give you pressure, I'm telling you, those kind of people are not nice. They are not nice. I can refer to my own mentors. They give me tasks that are so unrealistic at times. I feel like they are unrealistic because sometimes they look at them and say, you know what, I've got work, I've got this, I've got school, I've got family, and also want me to do this. But it's not because they are bad people, it's not because they want to dim my light. They want my light to keep on shining and shining and shining. I remember the other time I was telling someone, I said, I feel like this little light of mine is burning out gradually. It's not shining anymore. Because I felt like it was being exhausted a lot of times. But one thing also that I want to put out there is as a cautionary, in our work we call it cautionary statement. You need to also identify people who are willing to share their light with you. Because if you're not careful, you will have the light, you will have the environment, you will discover the mental, you will enjoy actually your power and exercising your skills. But before you know it, you can burn out. So you don't want to go through a bankruptcy whereby you are out of funds, you are out of inspiration, you are out of motivation, you are out of energy. You need also to have people who take it as a two-way street. You have given me your life, I'll give you mine. You have given me your energy. No, you have given away your energy to certain people. But I'm willing to come through and also give you part of the energy that I have. So, as I said before, it's not a one-size-fits-all template. Like, if you did accounting, you know what I mean. My cells are not what I like myself. My pictures is their pictures. But with this one, yes, I'm like one of them next to me. But when it comes to issue of purpose, sometimes you realize that my cells are not the same as the next person. So you need to have your own template that will help you to get to where you want.
Beautiful. You really expounded that. Well, expounded it. Wow. Well, thank you so much. It was very, very clear. But now, before we move on to the next item, I just want to ask how many of us are Manchester United fans? Like, can you just lift our hands?
Yeah.
Manchester United. Come on! It's like my eye. Depends on the story. I don't know our friends. Okay, Chelsea. Chelsea, okay, there's like 2 Chelsea. Oh, so which teams do you support? Liverpool. And what? And this party says he doesn't want so personally, like I can literally care less about people. Like, come on. Like it's there. And I see on people's statuses like, yes, man, you want. Apparently, man, you people are very vocal about. Like it's like they're the only team, you know. And I feel like when we are working in purpose, right? There's like that man move for you, something that makes you and like you can imagine the other team, no, I'm not team feel like Man U has won, and when Man U actually loses, it's like all the other teams suddenly become one team, and they're like laughing at Man U. So that's it about purpose. Like we're not expected to do the same thing. I, for example, have a very beautiful example. There's Abigail who's in the birthday. Like, guys, I've never seen her speak like in front of a crowd or like part of a panel. But if I tell you guys that she makes my life easy, like she keeps the ball rolling. Like whenever I host an event, I know that like I have peace of mind. I have comfort. I know that I'm just focusing on what I'm doing right here because I know that Abigail is doing something in the background. So, like, not everyone is called for platforms, not everyone is called for, like, to be Michelle Obama or Oprah, but there are people that are producing that Oprah content, right? There are people that are cleaning where Oprah is going to sit. There are people that are doing her makeup. And I feel like sometimes we lose that aspect. And even my makeup artist, my tailor, like this was ministry that they did. For me to be able to be here, the guy who provided the venue. So purpose is in many, many, many aspects. And still on that note, we have Oti Brand here, who is our partner, who is working in purpose. Like, they are our partners for this whole event. Like, they make things move. And Amina was our first, speaker. Like, she stood, introduced herself, explorated, gave examples. So, Oti Brand is going to be giving us little somethings as we participate. So, the very first, Alright, Oti Brand came with a representative to just give Amina something. Photographer, please capture this moment. Oti Brand is walking in purpose, okay? Yes, please, a moment for Amina.
Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to. She was coming.
Wow, how are you? I'm fine. Let's see what you're doing so good. Wow. I think that would be a wow.
So beautiful. Thank you, that's enough. That was not a sister moment. But it's fine. Okay, I'm in on to like break. It's okay. Yes. Whoever is there is getting there. So, and also like generally guys, like you can still work in purpose and be a model. Like there are things that have been stigmatized by our African society or African upbringing because maybe it's not necessarily that you have to reveal your whole work, but still there's ministry in everything. Like ministry and purpose is hidden literally everywhere where we go. And before we move forward, these people want to get something on purpose. 1 hour.
Okay.
I see many people they find it a little bit complicated when we start to talk about finding your purpose, and it feels like it's something that is so far away from where you are. What you are saying is it's something that is within you. When we are talking about purpose, we are talking about what you were living for or what you were created for. So in other words, it's the specifications according to how you were made. It's not something that you need to go and dig for. It's something that is already at the surface. But sometimes we get a little bit confused. Why? Because it doesn't look like something that we have seen before. Are we following? Okay. So purpose, ladies and gentlemen, is how you were created. Purpose is what defines your existence. The reason why you are breathing today. That's purpose. Are we together? Okay. So it's about the things that you are already. You as an individual, who are you? What is it that you do? It's not like go into no poachers, which one you go, you take that again. No, it's building up, even if you want it. I don't know, when I realized that I was a preacher, there is something about preaching that I didn't like. There are certain features and certain looks about preachers that I didn't like. Then I realized, how would God want me to be something that I don't want to be? No, it's me trying to make it. You are trying to make it look like something that you were used to. I was telling someone that if God called me, don't tell me how people that are called are supposed to be like, because otherwise He already called me as I am. And you want to use me. You don't want me to change so that you can use me. You want to use the authentic me. You called me with who I am. Are you getting what I'm saying? So, purpose is not so far away from who you are. Purpose is you. What you like, what you love, your preferences, your choices, your decisions, how you see things. It's not like I now have to change because I want to move in my purpose. I don't need to change how I speak because I want to move in my purpose. It's not so far away from who you are. Purpose is more like branding what you already are. It's taking you to another level, taking your personality. You're just putting some spices and branding and stuff and so forth. But purpose is what you're already doing. It's not far away from that. So you're already doing that.
Thank you. And when it speaks about that, they are your preferences. It's who you already are. I'll give an example of myself. Like, I don't look like the model preacher or like someone you'd expect to find on a pulpit. Because people talk about the way I bleach my hair or how I love my nose ring and things like that. But it's God that has placed that on the inside of you. And you're called to a certain audience. And I think that's one thing that we're supposed to understand. Like, if you're called for a Nigerian audience, you could be in Zimbabwe, but you dress like a Nigerian. Or if you're called for a Barbados audience, like Rihanna, for example, she will do things that are Barbados, like, I'll end there. That will be good. What I'm saying. So I think also just embracing that authentic self of who you are. Like, I don't like salsa, I like rice. I don't like long nails, I like short nails. But it's already who you are. It's already engraved on the inside of you. What? Oh, okay. These people are complaining. Like, no, I was giving an example. I like my nails long. Yeah, very long. But generally, God wants to use what's already in you, what He made you as. And like Pete said, to brand that and make it into purpose. And I feel like also, like, we have made purpose seem like this huge, gigantic thing that's so far away, so hard to reach. And that has scared people away, even from the church, from really even pursuing what purpose actually is in the first place. So over to you, Emily. I know you wanted to add on. How can we destigmatize purpose and make it more?
Thank you. So yeah, now I quite know that. But anyway, talking about how we can destigmatize, I think first of all, generally as people who pursue purpose or people who attend this kind of ideas, we're way too serious. I mean seriously, I thought the dress code was casual and I'm coming here and I'm like, okay, wow, this is your version of casual. Kudos to you. I'm able my wardrobe, but then personally I'm thinking, so I think it comes down to the fact that we are way too serious as people. You know, when I was at work last week, people in my workplace were laughing. You're going to be talking about purpose and confidence. Like, I'm really playful at work, and to people that know me personally, I'm way too playful. So they're like, it's like you are going to be saying something like, as in you. I mean, this is you we're talking about, because I'm way too playful. So most of us are way too serious for what we want to pursue. We're way too serious. It's hard for someone to come and approach you. It's hard for someone to come and work with you because they feel like, okay, so now I have to go. You know how we do this. It's not every time that someone has to be like, get my email. No, I can sometimes just get your phone number. Hi, how are you? Yeah, cool. So can I get this from you? So I think firstly we need to stop being way too serious, because that's where it starts, not only from a purpose perspective, but from an everyday perspective. Like leaning to even all of this is that last week we were at a self-care conference and they were talking about wholeness. And most of us, especially people who pursue purpose, if we come here and we ask you how are you doing mentally and other areas, we're okay. But many of you, if I ask you, so what do you do socially for yourself? What do you do on weekends? I attend events. Really? Really, guys? So if there's no purpose conference next week, like what are you doing again? Another event, another networking event. I mean, I'm not calling names. Yeah, I'm not calling names. But I'm just saying that's how we miss purpose, because we want to find it in the serious things. We want to be serious people. We want to identify the things that are serious. If you follow my WhatsApp statuses, you might not actually end up respecting me. I'm way too playful for this. Some of us are way too playful. So if you know me from social media, you might not be able to relate me with purpose. So be playful, have fun, just go out there. You know, someone gave me this example the other time and said, the person who made the remote, what problem do you think they were solving? They were just lazy. They were like, I don't want to be walking to the TV. Come on, man. Let me invent a remote. So if we start from that perspective, we might end up actually walking into a purpose, because we're not all called to be the serious people and to be doing the serious jobs and to be, solving the world's problems. No, sometimes we just want to have fun. How can you create fun? How can your business create fun for other people?
Thank you so much, Amy, for that. That was powerful. Maybe just to take you back, I wanted to add on to a point where you said, everyone is important. I remember when I was on attachment, there's always that fight between engineers and artisans. But truly speaking, in as much as engineers...
what are artisans?
Yeah, sure. What's that?
Okay, so artisans are mainly people like those guys who go to poly. They do like the practical, like boiler makers, diesel plant fitters, all those guys who are very, very practical. So there was always that fight between, the artisans are saying, no, my engineers will not should some office, and engineers are saying, no, I shouldn't be doing this because an artisan is paid to do this. But at the end of the day, if we remove one from the equation, one power plant will collapse. You get it? Yeah. So everyone is a role to play. Like for example, not going very far. Imagine if there were no teachers at all. Imagine there was no one who was going to teach anyone. Robert Mugabe, Barack Obama, Consolata, me, Emily, everyone, you came through a teacher from ECD, Ukresh, Kuya, Muchi, Shibisa Manaki, Muchi, everything, all those people, they play a role. I remember I always say this with teaching is a calling, because I met a teacher. I studied at Matabeleland. If that teacher was my teacher from Form 1, I would have studied with them. That man was so passionate to a point where during the Vele lessons, I would move out of the classroom. I would be there and I would participate. So the issue when it comes to purpose is no one is more important than the other. Because it's like a board. I remember, if you remember, there was a story from childhood where the mouth and everyone, like the body parts, they were complaining that the stomach does nothing. So they all stopped working. But at the end of the day, the body collapsed. So the issue is you need to realize, in any Consolata, am I the eyes, am I the nose, am I the mouth, or am I the ears?
Okay.
Because you realize that when you talk about the body, if one sensory is missing, we say you are disabled. That means each and every one of us, because when we talk about purpose, it starts from self-acceptance. Who am I? I had to accept that you need Zungu and Zungu no badara. For me, I will no badara.
Okay.
It is the energy that I have that has made me to be where I am today. So, with speaking, I realized it's either I'm going to gossip, and I can spread a lot of rumors and destroy people's lives. Or I can be an inspirational speaker and change people's lives. So in everything, Chauli, in your life, you can decide. And there's a book that I always recommend, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Things can either work for you or against you. So in every single thing pertaining to who you are, you can decide that, okay, I like photography. How can it work for me? Or how can it work against me? You get it? So it's also really important to understand that no one is superior than the other person. We are all equal. The issue is self-acceptance, accepting, okay, I'm me. This is what I like to do. And also the other thing, so you need to realize when you're working in purpose, not everything is smooth. You realize that I always meet when I'm not saying I'm too serious, like too serious. At first, I used to think about it, maybe I'm really serious. But at some point, I got to understand that's who I am, that's how I function, that's how I do my things, that's how I get things done. So when it comes to purpose also, it's not about fitting in. You are not for everyone. It's about identifying who you are. Do I fit in this audience? Like I remember, I think it's Theo who spoke about environment. If you force yourself to fit in a certain environment that you don't qualify for, you drain yourself, you get frustrated because that's not who you are. So it's also really important to understand that you're not for everyone. For social media, you get people who like you and you get people who bash you, and that's okay. And you also need to understand that there are also a lot of attacks when it comes to people who are pursuing purpose. You might fall into depression, you might get sick. I remember there's a time I was very active and I would have like this big organizations, coming to me saying, you are stealing our ideas. You get it? So when you pursue some of these things, you face a lot of backlash. And at the end of the day, when people see you, most people, they will also be intimidated. But you know what? We don't like it because when you do 1, 2, 3 things, you still maybe our client, you still this. So there are a lot also, let's also talk about a lot of challenges that also come. And it's normal at the end of the day, and you need to accept it that you're not everyone's cupcake.
Thank you so much. That was so powerful. I think as Christians, you have this thing that you're like, I feel peace about this. Get me? It's not wrong to feel peace about things, but when it comes to purpose, you don't always feel peace, guys. Like sometimes you are literally throwing yourself, and you are throwing yourself into a fire. Like it's now that kind of mood, and that's just purpose. I really love that you spoke about mental health, and even this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? And in pursuit of purpose. Like, have you guys ever suffered from maybe like panic attacks, depression, anxiety? Like, I want someone who wants to share your story, not just to act like a preacher or go into the surface. Like something practical. And how did you get out of that and get yourself back on track to walk in purpose?
Okay, so So I'm going to talk about my story. So there are lots, but I'll just choose a few. So sometimes, like especially like myself, I'm one person who pushes. So when I push, I expect a certain equal reaction. So when I decide to do something, I also expect like certain results to come my way. So a lot of challenges that I face, especially when it comes to me, is when you're like, for example, I'm interested in coaching, public speaking. So you realize that you are surrounded by similar people who do same things as you do. But one of the challenges that I face almost every time is always that comparison. Saying, for example, Conte has hosted a physical event, I haven't hosted a physical event. So I start pressuring myself, and I do get panic attacks, like even headaches, saying, so how can I be like Conte? So there's always that temptation, always trying to compare yourself. I see people also doing like the charity events, they are getting sponsorships. And I don't have even one sponsor, I look for everyone myself. So you get into a position where you start thinking, am I really doing the right thing or not? Should I proceed or not? So I remember with that conversation, I usually unfollow people. Not put one chance or anything, no. But sometimes when I feel like I'm no longer drawing inspiration from you, but I'm actually drawing jealousy and hate, I pull myself out. So if it's Instagram, I mute all your statuses. I restrict you. If it's WhatsApp, for that period in time, I delete your number so that I don't see any of your progress. Because at the end of the day, now it's affecting my mental health. Now I'm putting a lot of pressure. Maybe for me, at that point in my life, I'm still a child. I'm learning how to grow. Even when I'm 10 years, what will I legend or drive a motor? So definitely, I can't compete with those people. So there are a lot of times when I get, like those panic attacks, also question yourself, am I like really doing the right thing? Am I at the right, why is it these opportunities are not coming my way, I'm doing the exact same thing, I'm doing everything by the book, but why is it these opportunities are not coming my way? So there are a lot of struggles around those things, especially if you're surrounded by people who do things.
Thank you so much. Like that's so beautiful, guys. I don't know. Like she really shared from her heart, and thank you for that. I don't take it lightly. So you pointed out a lot of things. Sorry, guys, I will get to. But this girl is like, you pointed out a lot of things, such as social media, and I love how you mentioned your way of dealing with social media pressure. And I know, like people are like. Some people don't agree, like with the muting statuses and stuff. But I really strongly feel that if that works for you, please, we want you to live and survive, not to be like Miss USA who killed herself. For what? For who at the end of the day? Like, I would rather lose your number or mute your status rather than kill myself and literally cut my life short and not fulfill my purpose to the very end. So I commend you for that. Thank you for sharing that as well. And I think it will free a lot of people, like our audience as well. Hey, but she's my best friend. How can I mute her status? Or how can I delete her number? But even your best friend can give you unnecessary pressure. You have to be really honest with yourself. With, okay, now this is unhealthy pressure that I'm actually feeling. Yeah, thank you, Nate. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Anyone else on mental health? Oh, Fat wants to end. Auntie Brent. Wow. Please, Auntie Brent, come through with a gift for.
Hey guys, just to add on to what she's saying, when it comes to pressure, it's also important that you realize that I'm not posting what I'm posting to give you pressure. I'm also just living my best life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's also pretty important, right, to understand. I actually said this on my status this morning. And I said, people post what they want you to see online.
Yeah.
We are not going to post our vulnerable moments. We are not going to post the undecent things that we are doing.
Yeah.
Sure.
We are going to post what seems decent to us and what will make me acceptable to the society. So in as much as I'm going to be giving you pressure, and it's in I'm going to say that guys, when it comes to relationships, please give us pressure. Just relationships, right? But a lot of us need it. But understand that in whatever I'm posting, I'm just living my best life. But in me posting what I'm posting as my best life, it's not everything that is decent to me that I'm posting. So it's from a content creator perspective, because I create content, and this morning I was editing a vlog. One of my angles and and I'm like, and as much as we say we want to be authentic, me removing this corner is me not being authentic. Me editing that is me not being true to people. And that's when I had to accept that we are not always going to show people stuff that is really happening. So remember that someone is just living their best life. If I'm not over pressure, if I'm out of poor pressure, actually what I don't want to take care of what, right? And because in two and it's okay, I can use that because my mental health matters. But also, it's not everything that I post on social media that is what is happening in my life. I'm not going to be happy 24/7. In those 24 hours, I have an hour where I'm having a down moment, and I'm probably crying on my knees and saying, Mwari, how come this is not happening for me? I thought we planned this is going to happen. But I come back online and then I start posting chikafu and so please just bear that in mind. We are, everyone here, everyone, I think I speak for everyone. We are all sharing curated content.
Yeah.
We are all sharing curated content. So in our curation, pressure, but pressure.
Thank you. Auntie Brent, 145, who personally volunteered to edge a point. Thank you. Thank you. Where are the guys? Like, today we're doing something different. Like, we want to give the guys scrubs, you know, like, we want self-care for men. So we are looking forward to lip balms for your lips. We don't want you to have dry lips. Yes, the ladies do not want you to have dry lips. Yes. So please, guys, rise up. When you want to edge on, you know, when you want to say something, this room is your oyster. This conversation is your oyster, like they say the world is your oyster. All right, one more person on mental health. Oh, okay, she wanted to get something. Nate, this is for everyone.
Okay, just to add on to what Fati was saying. Like, for example, I use social media to promote my brand. So I made that conscious decision to say, you know what, my personal life is my personal life. Only those who are close to me will know exactly what is going on around me. But there are certain opportunities that I'm looking for, and I believe in discipleship. You need someone to mention your name in a room when you're not available. So how will people know who I am? So I opened that window using social media. So I post about charity. So that means if someone wants to donate, they'll be like, oh, there's need. If you're looking for a coach, oh, there's need. So like what she was saying, some of us, we use social media as a promotional tool, not necessarily to share what is going on in our lives.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's very important. Like, I post memes a lot and stuff like that, but I think it's important that at least 70% of what you're trying, like, of the message that you're trying to put out there. So it's all 30% but like, what's your message? When people think of you, like, when people think of Consolata social media, when people think of this social media, what do they think of? Can I refer to so it's fun, we're gonna be singing along every single day, and like we're gonna dress some kissing words because she's a brand influencer. You get it? So I make sure in posting, I want to see a relationship, let the point or the message that you're trying to put across. Now we are moving forward. One response. Yeah. Okay. So what's the importance of friendships and environment in grooming you or in catapulting you towards your purpose or destiny. Friendships, relationships, and the environment around you. What's
Thank you so much. Please forgive me. Can I just take you back before I go to answer your question?
All right.
So she asked about a practical way whereby we discovered purpose. So I discovered that they are pointers to purpose. I don't want you to leave this room and yet you are still not so sure about purpose discovery. And this is not ultimate, but it's just a guideline. And I call this the 5 P's to purpose discovery. These are people, these are passions, this is potential, this is pain, this is prayer. I said initially, for you to understand the make of anything is by consulting the maker. So that's where prayer comes in. When you consult the maker of who you are and the people around you. Purpose has a place and as a people. I love how Paul puts it across, and he understands that I've been called for the Gentiles. I, Paul, an apostle to the Gentiles and not the Jews. So when Peter tried to act otherwise among the Gentiles, Paul remained authentic because he understood the people whom he had been called to. So in terms of purpose and people can also help you realize your purpose. Friends can help catapult you to your destiny.
Oh, yeah.
David needed a Jonathan for him to be preserved. So you will find out that as you do life, God will place certain people strategically to help you in fulfillment of your purpose. This is one of the most important things that I always do whenever I allow someone into my life. I always ask, what's the purpose? Because I don't want to miss it. Hello? Yes. So always be mindful of why you exist in a person's life. More than friendship. What purpose am I serving in the life of Oti? What purpose am I serving in the life of Conso? What has God called me for in their life? So it's always very important to know not just your purpose in general, but even the reason why you have been placed in the life of someone. So,
Thank you, Watson. That was beautiful. Now, I want us to speak for a little bit. Kuti, have you ever been affected by imposter syndrome? Like, to the guys, does any guy want to define what imposter syndrome is? Just to the guys only. Terence has been volunteered by name. Okay, yes. You can stand up so that they may take pictures of you. As Oti Brand also prepares, what do you call the facial scrubs for your self-care routine.
We're talking about
Anti-voice, so the voice, they felt
from my own understanding, the imposter syndrome is not necessarily a medical. It is a medical, though in a way, mental health condition, you could say, where you feel you are undeserving of the things that you have actually accomplished in your life. And personally, I've gone through something similar to that. So, because I'm also in the same space as some of the people who are here today, I enjoy the ideals of leading, of influencing, and really the idea is to help people fulfill their purpose while doing the same thing as well. So along the journey of life, you sometimes go on at sometimes receive an award for this or that. So for me, one of the very first moments that actually made me think was when I was nominated for a role model award at the Ignite Youth Awards. For me to look at that sort of I wanted to call it a nugget, but it's not necessarily like let me just say this phrase, role model. It was something that was beyond the wildest. So I had to sit down and say, what exactly is a role model? As much as we may say, yes, we're looking at youth for role models. What exactly is a role model? Is it someone like Stravis? Is it someone else who potentially hasn't done as much as they've done, but still has managed to actually influence other people, to touch them in some way, form or shape? So I eventually went through my WhatsApp. I remember going through my WhatsApp and actually going through the messages. I was looking for specific messages from people who were simply saying, thank you, Terence, for actually touching my life, for doing A, for doing B, for doing C, for doing D. So when I went for that award ceremony, it wasn't so much about all the other things that I obtained that I never achieved. But for me to be a role model, it was because of those moments where I actually touched someone's life, where I actually managed to change them. As I always say, leadership is not leadership unless it actually changes someone's life, unless it actually makes them leaders. You can't be a leader while we only have followers behind you. You have to live in a position of influence. And influence is about changing mindsets, it's about shaping opinions, all those sort of things. So afterwards, I wasn't so much surprised when I was part of the chain of sending and lessons for Zimbabwe from JCI last year. In as much as I understood that there were people who had bigger profiles than me, people who would need to introduce themselves if they were in the same position that I am in right now. But I understand my purpose as a person. I understood why I was in that sort of space. But it wasn't easy all night to hear somebody like Consolata when I was the host for that particular event. She didn't need to read certain people's profiles. And as I was sitting on the table, I knew she would need to read mine, because most of the people didn't know me. So that sort of moment, I actually felt that imposter syndrome. Why am I here? Am I in the same sort of space as these people? Look at what they were driving when they actually came to this venue. Am I in the same sort of class? So you could ask yourself those sort of same questions. But I think it's okay to own what we have. And I guess that's what you mentioned already, the idea that we are all people. In as much as we may be different, in as much as other people may be Forbes, state under 30, someone will make it. But there are people who are pushing, who are doing all sorts of things that are wonderful. As I finish, I just want to talk about one person who I like a lot in the Bible. I am a big fan of Ezekiel. But not for the purpose of this prophet, but because of his journey. Because Ezekiel believed for the longest time that he was born to be a priest. But then he had to spend 5 years in Babylon, exile, before he actually found his true calling, which is the calling of prophecy. Within that time, he had to wait. He had to wait 5 years. He didn't know what was happening. I'm sure he was wondering. I was born into a family where my father was a priest, but now what am I doing over here? So he had to wait. The idea that I'm trying to pause. In as much as I made the choice to stay out as a young person, at 25, despite my soulmate at 1999, and at the age of 34, we are still different people. He has done more than probably I will ever do in my life. Probably had to wait because of other circumstances in his life. So I think we have to go through our journey. Let us accept our becoming. Let us see who we are and go through it as well as possible. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I feel like you defined imposter syndrome.
Gave examples.
Took us through the whole process. Please take a picture of him. No, that one is the most important Oti Branch picture, guys. Where she's actually handing over to a guy. Alright, so he defined imposter syndrome and then described the process of going through imposter syndrome and the solutions as well. And what I loved is when he said, just embrace the process of becoming. I was shocked. Do you guys know Viola Davis? Like, she acted How to Get Away with Murder, and there's the First Lady show where she's like impersonating Michelle Obama. Like, she's that big. And still, she says, I struggle from imposter syndrome. Like, I mean, come on, that's Viola Davis. So that just goes to show did something that's practical. And I hope we can learn from his story to just embrace our becoming and just know, okay, what I've done is enough. Okay, let me stop preaching. We have 30 minutes now. So I'm gonna do 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, one question per person, right? So Emily will be first. She just wants to round up on the friendships point. Yeah.
That's fine. So I wanted to address the friendship issue. Please, miss what? Unless you're my friend, no fighting after this. But sometimes I feel like I was saying, we take life too seriously. So sometimes people burden us in these friendships that we have to have a purpose in friendship, that sometimes we just want to hang out, and sometimes we just want to go out. And I feel, especially people who are purpose-oriented, sometimes they overburden friendships because they feel like because they have a vision, they have a calling, they are pursuing whatever, then I also have to be in the same wavelength, of which maybe, it's not my cup of tea, like I'm saying. So I think sometimes what works for me though is compartmentalizing my friendships. I think I've said this before, that whom you find me telling about my relationship, that person might not even yet to know what probably happens in relation to my purpose. Because the moment that I want to explain my purpose to them, and then they also know that probably, this is an example, guys, this is an example, that probably I'm cheating on the next person, and then, they might not be able to place me in the right, to see me in the right way. So I think sometimes let's compartmentalize our friendships to say, because you need a let out, you need someone who you're able to just tell all and all. But if that person is also supposed to be sort of like a role model, a mentor, you're telling them, I'm also trying to do business, I'm trying to do this, they might not be able to see you in the right way. So I understand people need to have a purpose in your life, but sometimes we take it too far. Like really, like you're going, like, no, like, so let me give you an example. Let's say I come into let me give you an example. Let's say I come into Conso's inbox, and then I'm like, Conso, there's this guy that I really like. And then Conso is like, there's a time when they, that face, God makes all things beautiful in this time. Like, really, so, like, how do I, like, really, God makes all things beautiful in his time? Like, you don't have something else to tell me? Like, talk to me. There needs to be a little bit of drama. So today what then happened, I literally just went to lunch because I wanted to eat, but I knew that I don't like that guy. At least there's drama, there's something, but then, so yeah, that's what I wanted to clarify on the whole purpose in friendship. Like,
Thank you so much. I think there's fun, even like purpose can also be fun, guys. Even my best friend is not into this ministry thing. Like she doesn't even post on social media. She's just living a life, but she's my best friend. And I think what Emily said, it's compartmentalizing friendships. Like I go to her because I don't have to pour into her like what I do to the rest of the world. But she's that person who pours into me in a special way that none of you in here can do. So that's also a definition of her purpose, right, Mom?
Yeah.
So even the fun is still purpose. Yes. Alright. So now I'm going to ask Kip. We have mentioned that there are several challenges that you face in pursuit of purpose. And how have you been able to get back up when you face such challenges? Times when they're saying, people were saying they're stealing our ideas. I mean, guys, that's like dying. Like, it's scary to even think that, people that have gone ahead of you think you're stealing their ideas. So those are some of the challenges. So what are some challenges that you faced? And how did you manage to win and get yourself back into the game?
And I just have a minute.
Okay.
on challenges, I don't know how to put this across, but I can actually say I've never come across challenges that were actually going straight against my purpose for what I've been doing. But it was more like having other issues and things going on around you. Like personally as a kid and being a preacher and speaking to young people. And most of the time there's a preacher that people know, and at the back of the stage there is this life and there is this kid that I also need to focus on. So I didn't have much of, what can I say, weight on what I was doing outside, but putting my life back into balance. Why? Because I'm not always on the pulpit. There are other things that I need to be working on. So it was actually about balance. So what I would want to say is, as you pursue your purpose, make sure that you are on the balance. Are we together? Many I once had some people like, you know what? Me as a preacher is not something that will give me income. If I'm to let young people and helping them and stuff and so forth, commercializing that thing now to me becomes more like out of purpose. Why? Because I'm here to help them, even to those that can't afford to buy that time or to buy those services. So my main challenge was me being me. Like I know that I'm an inspiration, like what he was talking about concerning posting. I can't post the rough times of my life. Why? Because it discourages people. I know someone was like, kid, I want to know how do you balance your stuff, like really doing all those things that you do. You know, I really wanted to answer that person, like, I don't even know if they are balancing.
All the time.
You see, I don't even know. I'm actually getting it from you that how am I balancing? Like, I don't even see the balance. You are the one seeing the balance. But to me, things are not okay. You go back and need that. Though outside she's a Buddha say punge, but down deep within me, I know how I am struggling. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. So maybe to go on friendship side. Personally, as an individual, what have helped me is friendship. To get the balance back. You know, one good gesture that ever happened to me is concerning these 5 girls, and I think 3 of them are in here. Not, I mean, yeah, there are 3, 4 of them are in here. You know, I just moved out of my parents' place, and things were not okay. There was a lot of drama going on, and yet I was still a preacher out there telling kids, you know what, you got to respect your parents. But down deep within, I had some wolves going on between me and my dad, me and my mom, my brothers, you know, blocking each other, telling each other stuff and so forth. But out there, I am that preacher. Yeah, honor your parents, but that's not what I was doing. But you know what? Same applies with Moses. It's one thing that I learned, you know, so yes, I'm dealing with whatever that I'm dealing with. It's not more like I have to let them know and that I have to teach them the right thing to do. Then I keep on fighting my personal battles on the other end. You know, I love the story about Nehemiah when we talk about building the temple at the same time we are in a battle. You have to be able to balance the two, fight whatever that you were fighting, and make sure that you proceed and you keep on with the purpose. You see, so these ladies, they come in at my place, you know, you're moving out and you're no room command and you don't have anything and stuff and so forth, the room can one room and stuff. Like, guys, yeah, we are coming for a sleepover, whatever and stuff. And so like, guys, what are you talking about? I don't even have chairs. Like, yeah, we could. Then I sit at your bed, you know. The whole night, there was nothing else to talk about but to talk about me. You know, I remember the first time I gave an excuse and I went outside and I started crying outside. You know, then I got back. Then I was like trying to man up again. Then we are having the conversation again. Tell us, kid, how is it going, the finance? Tell us, kid, how is it going, your relationship? Tell us, kid, what's going, your family? All right, with your mom, what really happened? And they're giving you all the time, like, We had the whole night. They just came for the one night to talk about kids and to figure out what is happening in my life. I couldn't stand that. They say men do cry. Not after such things. It was something altogether. So to tell you the truth, you need those kind of people. I don't know how they came, I don't know how I found them, but I happen to have them, and I'm grateful for that. But if you are to look for them, I don't know, but please go and look for such people that want to see you making a balance. I still remember someone was like, you started school some time back. Like I enrolled at UZ as an accountant for accounting, 2016. And if you count, I think it's now maybe the 7th year, if not the 6th. And it's actually a 4-year degree. I'm saying. And they're like, yeah, we love all the things that you were doing, but please go back to school for us. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? You need those kind of people. So in all those ministry, whatever purpose, there are other walls that you face for background. But what I want to assure you is those walls will keep on. But pursue purpose and keep on fighting. Don't stop. Jesus is the commentator. Don't like, I'm going to stop this so that I attend to this. That's how the devil just take us off. I remember another day. You see, there is another time when I felt like I just have to do away with this preaching thing and just focus maybe on my life. You know what? I got worse. I once told my pastor, like, okay, what is the other thing that you did, kid? And I said to Pastor, Dakano, Dakatako. Pastor was like, kid, are you getting what I'm trying to say? Don't stop. The moment you stop pursuing your purpose, you become something else, something ugly that you always regret. So keep on fighting, keep on pursuing purpose. Don't stop.
Thank you so much. I love everything that you say, but when you talk about guys, honestly speaking, like there are times whereby you preach the gospel of purity, but find yourself doing impure or impure things. And it's so much about forgiving ourselves first. We understand like God has already forgiven us and whatnot. But most of the times so that you're able to move on and keep on, working in purpose like keep the same. Like if you didn't reach that goal today, if you didn't do purpose as excellently as you wanted to, forgive yourself. God has already forgiven you. Like God knew you're gonna mess up at some point, right? So forgive yourself and move on. Keep moving, keep going. Like there's a greater price that's kumberogo, but only if you keep moving. If you quit now, because the devil is this thing where it keeps you going in cycles if you're not careful. Not about just okay, so I can't speak, so I can't stand in front of people, so I can't inspire, so I can't do this. And then you are immediately crippled. Like I see physically crippled, but your purpose, who you are, your core becomes crippled. Okay, moving on. 1 and 9. This one is for you, right? Sometimes, practically speaking, your parents or the people closest to you may not always understand your purpose. Like, change like the mainline churches like Roman Catholic. How then do you how do you deal with that? Your parents not being accepting of your purpose. It takes time sometimes. Parents like to see results. So far. Like they want results, but it takes time for you to get to a point where you have results to show for your hard work or for whatever you're doing. So how then do you continue to honor your parents and to love them and serve them, though they do not understand whatever it is that you're doing?
All right, thank you for that question. It took years before Mary could say, do whatever he tells you to do. We all know the wedding at Cana situation, whereby the disciples came crying, oh, the wine is finished, blah, blah, blah. And Jesus told them to fill the jars with water. And Mary just tells them, whatever he tells you to do, do it. It took time for Mary to trust that this thing that I gave with this person, this son is not a normal being. It took time. So, same as the people that are close to us, our friends, our families, it takes time. And for me, I think my father got that revelation quicker. My mom is still working on it, is still getting to know me and accept that I guess my child is called for this. But you need a set of values that will continue to guide you. I always tell some people that I talk to that you don't have cheerleaders when you're not running.
Okay.
It's athletes that needs cheerleaders.
Okay.
So you cannot expect people to cheer you on whilst you're not running. You can only start attracting cheerleaders when you're in the race already running.
Oh yeah.
So start anyway. Pursue purpose anyway. Even they are not agreeing with what you, even if they don't understand what you are doing, start anyway. Along the way, along the race, they will realize your purpose and they will run with you and they will clap for you. Tell you what, these are the day my heart was so warmed. I was sharing with one of my destiny helpers and friends that, you know, it hits differently when your sister tells them, oh, you know what, now I understand why they call you destiny promoter. It hits differently. It hits differently to be appreciated. Your purpose by your family. I saw this joke that was being shared around that. Be very successful that even your cousins will post you in their status. True. You know, people will only clap hands for you when you are already doing something. They won't clap you before you start. So start anyway. Don't wait for them to give you the permission. Don't wait for the validation. Don't wait for the approval. Start anyway. When God called you, it was not a conference call.
Yeah.
It was personal. So they will only understand later on and accept you for it. So take it from Jesus. It took his own mother to then accept it. My son is surely a different being, is not normal. So whatever he tells you to do, do it. So to answer the question, pursue purpose anyway. They will catch up along the way.
Thank you so much. That was straight to the point. Now, this is a hot question that I'm about to ask to you. What's the importance, or to what extent is it important that you choose the right partner, dating partner,
Yes, girl.
or your life partner in pursuit of purpose? Like, if I choose the wrong person, or like I can just date whoever, you know, sleep with whoever, do whatever I'm doing, like live my best life, or like I have to really be careful when choosing a life partner.
Alright, now this is a topic that can take the whole day. And we all know it's but I will say this. The partner that you choose will either build you or destroy you. And the word of God says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? Now I want to explain something. I need to take a bit of few seconds.
Yeah, good thing, so.
There are two things, okay, not 2%, but you have to fight. I'm looking at it from my perspective. I have to fight, right? A wife, which means there is
my definition of a wife. And if my definition of a wife does not include purpose, then it means whoever that I'm going to find as a wife is not going to take me to my purpose. Right. Now, on the issue of finding, we look at the parable of the lost coin. What was it? The woman, yeah. She was finding a coin because it had value. And she was finding something in a designated place. Which means the coin, she was sure that it's somewhere in the house. And when you are also finding a wife or a partner, then it means that person has to be located in a certain place. Which means if the person is misplaced and you already look at her and you define her as a wife, direction, your daughter. Because you've already found the wrong person in the wrong place. Now looking at the story of Boaz, one thing I like about Ruth was she was in the right place for Boaz. That's why Boaz, this is how I look at the story. That's why Boaz had to take Ruth, because she was a destiny helper. Boaz had to not know, this is the person who's going to help me with my purpose, with the destiny. Ruth was in the right place. That's why Naomi kept on pushing her, because she was in the right place. So that is how I see it. If you're going to find the wrong person in the wrong place, then eventually the issue of purpose, yatota. So number one, make sure that the person you're going to call a life partner is well defined according to your standards. Because yes, we know, and I don't know, okay, maybe sometimes people question my level of salvation. Because a lot of people say but honestly speaking, even Adam, if he did not wait for God to hand Eve over to him. If you read your Bible, Adam this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, you know, because he had found a wife. And even if Adam was the one who actually called Eve, yes, his wife. So, I don't want to lie to you people. The moment you see it, you will know it. The moment you see it, you will know it. This is the one that I've been looking for. And trust me, the cows will come home. So yeah, if you get the right person, they will always be good.
Alright, thank you, Phil. Thank you so much. It's funny, but I don't know one. That's from our audience, like, she's making charity. And Theo is saying, like, you know, with like, you know, when people say, I know that I know that I know, like, you don't have a valid reason, eh? But you just know. But I know, but it's
okay, in other words, what I'm saying, I'm trying to say, there is a time, Theo, like you are really. No, you are so sure, like you can actually see the future willingness and everything. I don't get that. You know what? I'm actually seeing the church growing.
We want to know with ministry.
my point is
And then drop another. Well, I will refer to a story which actually happened. It inclined to what he is actually saying. A certain individual whom I know personally, akatowo now, akaona, but akaonekwa manje, angazi. But one thing I love about life is it always gives us another chance.
Okay.
And I don't want to lie. Pane akazumo now, right? And one of my mentors once told me the issue yeku salza, and she was saying that sometimes we young people we question ourselves a lot to say, so how do I know it's the one? How do I know it's the one? And you know, there are times when you're hosting an event, she's there. You're saying let's go to church, she's there. You're saying I'm doing this, she's there. You know, you post something, she likes it, she comments, she inspires you, she keeps on feeding you with all the momentum. And again, you're still going before God to say, God, show me. You know, don't you worry about the eye position. You're putting what else do you need? How else should I show it to you? This is the one. He's always by your side. She's always there for you. So, you know, sometimes, I don't know, Kuti, is it proper to say God pray so that they also see? But you know, sometimes when you want them to see, it's a bit too late. And I've always said this, Kuti, there are moments of my life that have helped me to lean on God entirely. My friend also knows some of those moments. Such that whenever anything happens, I don't know what to do next. I just say, you know, God, just show me the next step to take. Because I don't want to make another mistake. I don't want to mess things up again. But I'm telling you, this journey it's a very vital step. Because this is the person who just Ramanai for the rest of your life. That means the day you say I do, going forward, Yato government is no longer yourself governing everything. Now you are two. So if the next person is not willing to support what you are doing, by supporting I'm not saying no, that's not what it means. But the fact that whatever that you're doing, that person is willing to give you energy, to inspire you, to help you keep on going, to become a team of whatever that you're doing, that's more than enough. That's more than enough.
So much. Plus, Mama, maybe it's not bad for them where I will cast up change. Like, you don't have time to socialize. Whether it's taxi, you're not that social, you don't really go to, you know, events like what job praise and what. But guys, there's someone there. But you are late. Do you want to talk about Buddha? No more wanna say come on, like we have to do better. Next. This one is for you. How do you stay humble? Like we understand, like, you know, how do you stay humble? Do you serve someone? Are you serving a church? How do you just stay humble? And do you have people that call you out? Or you're just doing your own thing, you know, just living life the way it feels best?
I think that's the most difficult question for me because I don't consider myself a someone who's humble.
Like, Jesus' characteristics, can you say he was humble as a person?
Yeah.
No, only because, like, dying, he had not seen, but he was like, okay, I will be seen. That's the only humble part. I can simply go.
Is washing the feet of the disciples.
But generally, like day to day, Jesus Anga Siri Hamburg. Truly speaking.
Okay, maybe before I answer your question, I did point to it, what they were saying. Especially like for women, I feel like it's very important to find like the right partner. Especially if you are that person who is pursuing purpose. And just to pinpoint what you said, you know, if you are like, for example, I'm very energetic. So, you know, there's always that thing that you think you need someone who does exactly what you do. But what I got to understand is you just need someone who understands what you do and just for you to support you and to see you succeed and to see you become the best version of yourself. So, to all the empowered women out there, if he's good, he's a good character, but sometimes don't be blinded. I know, I'm attacking you. But sometimes don't be blinded because you might miss out on a partner who is willing to walk that journey with you. Not necessarily because they are also attracted to the spotlight. You might have a husband, like for example, I remember I was seeing a story about Dolly Parton. We don't even know the husband, but it's there. It just doesn't like the spotlight, but it's there supporting the partner, you get it. Then back to your question. I really don't consider myself as someone who's humble. Maybe because how I took social media, because you know people get to know who you are when you post. They will know your success when you post. They will give you opportunities when you post. So there's always that thin line between humility and you know what you are looking for. You get it? Because Javan like you know what, I got accepted to Italia Women Network, and someone might see it as an inspiration. Someone might see it as someone who overshares. Someone might see it with we are not humility. Why don't you just do some of the things quietly and you do your own personal development? So I feel like the issue of humility when it comes to people, especially on the social media, and they understand that social media is a catalyst in ownership in some places. It's even partial our quality to exist in those spaces, but social media can do it for them. I don't know. Maybe audience you can help, but in our posts, and I write captions, and you know sometimes I praise. I remember one of my mentors, I screenshot I posted ladies and gentlemen, meeting at Tanga, the household name, you know, my grandchildren, my scholarships because of me, they'll be like, you know what, it was my grandmother, like, you know, we are kumberi, we get it. So for some people, they'll be like, you know what, Nate, I don't know English for Nera, but for some people, they'll be like, you know, I like how you see yourself. So I think, you know, then when it comes to saving, yeah, I do. Especially with church, I figured with some of these things in order to benefit from social media, like Toastmasters. You can't really benefit from Toastmasters if you're a bench warmer, because with Toastmasters you benefit by doing. So it's the same as church. Sometimes by law communities of your church can own a responsibility. So sometimes you can also anything, you'll be like, you know what, church is I think I should be there by half a day. But if an usher like you know they're not church. So that means in Indagano about church, so yeah, saving also it really helps, and sometimes you also get to learn a lot. But also the challenge is especially if you are someone who is pursuing social understanding, people also tend to take advantage when it comes to social volunteer, because bananas were any kitchen you gain experience, you gain exposure. But I feel like there's a certain point in life when you need to charge. You know what? If you really want my service, if you really want to commit, I will not do this for free. Now you've reached that point. I remember someone came to my inbox recently, was like, I liked what you did with your LinkedIn, I would also want to do the same. I was like, I'm not doing it for free. If you want my service, you need to pay something if you just post it. So these are some of the things you would see. It happens, but at the end of the day, you also need to put value. But Shankara put it right, it also need to understand the amount of exposure and that one, is it exactly what I'm looking for, or I need to know.
You also added on to like value for your services, value for your time. There comes a certain time where you have to make people pay. Like when I committed, someone will link to you, like even if it's $5, like usually people are not asking for so much money, but just an appreciation for the work that you're doing. Imagine all of the voluntary work that we're doing, my group, where we're constantly sharing. Then when someone asks for a small fee, they're like, hey, I'm just no, I'm just like, I've put so much work, so much research to become who I am today. And if you value that, you're going to pay to be a part. And now, we've spoken so much about confidence. Oh, there's a confidence. Yes, Oti Brent, there's a question here.
No, I don't have a question.
Oh, you want to end on?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I just wanted to add something on humility. I think maybe if we have to explain, maybe we need to understand the definition of humility first. We need to understand that humility is not about downplaying your abilities. Yeah. It's not about downplaying what you can do, but it's the attitude. It's about being grateful for all that you have. Like going back to what you were saying, if you are able to save, then you are humble enough. If you can put yourself beneath someone else, beneath the authority of a leader, it means that you are humble enough to know that you don't know everything. Like if we go back to when I got in here, someone was talking about purpose, saying that the finger cannot work without the arm. The toe will not be there without the feet, but also the feet cannot do without the toe. So it's about knowing that you are not all and everything. You need to learn something from the next person. And humility is not about actions. It's about attitude. Because I can get in here, as if I'm humble. But yeah, you know, I could get in here and also, but in this talking get humble in terms of the actions, but deep down in my heart I'm saying you see? So it's an attitude. So when you post about your achievements, I think we can put some attributes that are attributable to humility. One person who is humble does not belittle others. They are grateful for what they have. Because sometimes, let's say you got some accolades. Then when my accolades stand up, then wherever you want, you are not standing up. It's not humility. You are actually prideful to an extent that you think you deserve it or you cannot stand when someone calls you out. So I'll go back to the point that it's all about attitude. It's about when you're posting, like you're saying to you, when you post your achievements, like when you're saying with my granddaughter gets scholarships, you're just affirming. But with the attitude that you have, when you're posting, if you have the attitude, they will see me. Yeah, they will comment. Yeah, they will know about my great-granddaughters and all. Then you're prideful in a way. But when you're posting, could you want to inspire someone? You are humble enough to share your confidence, to share your convictions, to share your aspirations and all. So I think maybe it's not about like what you're saying. I'm not humble because I'm vocal about who I am. Actually, when you sit back, let's say whatever kind of whatever, then you sit back because you want them post then you are actually prideful. So I think it's all goes back to
Can I say something?
Fadzi wants to add on. Fadzi with the wine.
Just to add on to what she's saying, the best definition of humility that I had, it was from, I think it was Bishop Tudor Bismarck. He said that humility is power under control. That's exactly what it is. Nothing other than that. And that just summarizes what she was saying. Humility is power under control. You understand that I have so much power, but you put it under control so much that it does not rub off in a negative way to the next person.
Thank you
guys. This was so powerful. Now, the very last question is directed to Emily. So she's the personal development, etiquette, dressing, coach, whatnot. So may you please stand.
Okay.
Like, stand like in the middle. So I would love for you to share practical steps on how to be confident. Like, we've spoken about purpose, but like, what are the practical steps, and how do I walk as a confident person who's confident of their purpose, who's confident of the direction that they are going in? Like, how do I walk? How do I address? You know, how do I handle myself, and what value do I place on myself?
Yeah. So hello, how are you? Okay. Are you sure you're okay?
Yes.
Really? No, it's fine. It's fine, I can hold. Yeah. So you can all hear me. Alright, that's fine. So I'm supposed to address question here, confidence, and then practical steps. So I'll start by saying confidence is an act. I don't know if you're going to believe this, but let me sell this to you. As someone who just got this thing. Confidence is the confidence is an act. Why I say so is because I want to quantify it. It's because we are all afraid in certain circumstances, and we are all confident in certain circumstances. Meaning that if it's volatile like that, if it's something that is always changing, it means there is an act. There are places where I get to and I'm confident, and there are places where I'm at and I'm timid. So the problem comes when you feel like confidence is something that is so consistent. So you feel like this girl is so confident. No, there are places where I'm timid and I cannot even speak up for myself. But I'm also here and being confident. So don't beat yourself up and say I'm not the confident person that I should be. You are confident. You just haven't realized where you are confident at. Or in what places, or what triggers or inspires your confidence. That's the first thing. So because it's an act, I'm going to use the ACT. The ACT is an acronym to tell you the few practical steps that you can use in cultivating your confidence. So the A represents acceptance. Acceptance starts from a place of knowing yourself. I like when Nate was talking, and then she said that I mute people. Some of us are not even able to openly speak about our negative things that we do, our weaknesses. We are so positive. Yeah? You ask people, how are you? I am the blessed of the Lord, highly favored. Okay, I get that. I'm not saying don't have positive talk, but I'm saying if you're not able to identify what gets you down, what affects your energy, what makes you sad, then you're not accepting it of yourself. Because how do one say to speak it openly? So acceptance starts from self-awareness. Who are you? I like this, I don't like that. That's how you accept yourself. That's the A, right? We're still together. Then the C is cultivating. I say, firstly, you accept yourself for who you are. But unfortunately, just acceptance on its own, it will not work, trust me. Cultivating is about listing the things that will enable your confidence. For instance, if I'm going to be speaking, let's say English will enable me to speak better. Because I'm really worried about my chances, and I'm worried about my words, and I'm whatever. Just accepting myself that I break English will not help me, because I'll come here and I'll break English and you will laugh and it will affect my confidence. So you need to be in a constant habit of cultivating the things that allow you to have more confidence. Skills, interaction. Speaking does not start by coming here. Speaking starts when I come in here and then tell people, hi. How many of us actually initiate conversation? Someone's like, hi, how are you? And like, I'm fine, I'm okay. So you cultivate, you list those things that are able to enable you, which we just say confidence. That also speaks to how you're going to dress. You get what I mean? So you're going to cultivate. In the interest of time, the last T, it speaks to talking. So in fact I call it telling, right? It goes back to the affirming that they were talking about. Like your personal conversations, they matter more than the conversations that we're having in purpose and in confidence. Because when you go back home, you're yourself. and you're going to be taking all of the things that were said. There's something that I learned, that your belief system is what guides you. So whenever someone comes here and says, as long as you don't call it your belief system, trust me that I told them about this, it was powerful. People were, there were so many good points. But whatever is going to sync with your belief system is what you're going to accept in. So that conversation that you have with yourself, which is the last T, what you're telling yourself. What you're telling yourself is not always affirmation, because affirmation, if I tell myself that I'm rich and I'm not rich, the fact that I'm not rich will come back to haunt me. And then I'll change it to so I'm not saying that telling yourself is about affirming. I'm not saying affirming is bad, but I'm saying affirming sometimes it leaves gaps because what's actually reality. But it's being able, like I said before, confidence is an act. It's being able to talk to yourself that I am, if I'm talking to myself, today we're going to be speaking wherever. How can we enable ourselves to be able to stand and have strategic and to cultivate it? So I said to ourselves, we've cultivated, and now we're telling ourselves, this is business. I have to show up, and I have to show up correct, and I have to speak, and to speak my finance. Because we all have voices in our head. Voices that tell us, but what, if you cannot quiet that, if you cannot silence that, then you cannot be confident. And at the end of the day, whatever you do, remember, it's psychological. Confidence is an act. I can come here and act confident, and I can go out there and not be so confident. So if you continue acting confident, if you continue showing up confident, if you continue pushing yourself in confidence, trust me, you end up being confident. I hope that was helpful. Thank you. Do I really have to be walking? Yeah. Really? Like, so we should use confidence walk? I don't know.
Like, how are we supposed to know this?
Listen, say confidence walk. Okay, that's fine. But then that would have been better if I like literally remind you. So I want someone at my hospital who wants to see. I want you to walk. So I think that speaks to cultivating, because the moment that you're in flats, that will not come out. That's why I'm not going to do the walk. So I think it goes back to what I've already said. You cultivate, you bring together things that allow that confidence walk to come out. It's for me now, I'm in flats, and I love you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Despite our time. So this one is a personal testimony for me of how I cultivated my own confidence. Back then in primary school, I used to be very tiny and short, so whenever I was called out, I would feel very timid until I got a grasp, or I encountered, for me it was an encounter, of the word audacious. In some circles, I actually have a page called Audacious Adele. I loved it. It was sort of a revelation that came to me. There's a word like this. I owned it. And every time I looked in the mirror, I would tell myself, you are audacious. You are audacious. To an extent that it started showing up in the way that I appear, in the way that I speak. So what you tell yourself, like what you say. So for me, the telling part really worked well for me. And the more I say to myself, audacious Adele, I am cultivating that gutsy character. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So she emphasized on affirmations. Now, one last time for Hane Filoti, like they've gotten pointers of what their purpose is from these conversations that we've had. Just one person, Anongo Filoti, like this made sense. I feel like I now know one more thing. I am one step closer to my purpose because of these conversations. Just one.
We have two. Naebi.
Can you share with us some feelings?
All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Ratizo Chimkoko. I'm really inspired by everything that has been said. I want to be a speaker. So seeing you guys speaking, making sense,
Making sense.
It really inspired me. Okay, I just had one point to add on to what you were saying. Purpose is part of your functionality. It is what you are wired to do. It's like a cell phone. The functions of the cell phone are actually made before the cell phone is used. So you are already wired to do what you are supposed to be doing. So another thing is significance. When you discover your purpose, you also need to add significance by helping out, by putting service in what you can do. Oprah Winfrey once said, not everyone can be famous, but everyone can be great, because greatness comes with service. So when you serve others, it is the significance that you are putting in to the purpose that you have. I think that's all.
They were speaking but making sense. In other words, you can speak but also not make sense. Imagine that. Like the tragedy.
Today confirmed my purpose. So, and I stubborn. That type of a person, I think someone's posted about it. Could see, you know already what God told you.
Yeah.
But I need him to confirm 36 times so that I'll do it. Sometimes he actually pushes me out of my comfort zone, and then I'll start doing the things I'm supposed to do. So, as you guys were talking about the support from parents, I think Garisa should put a long overdue that they started understanding what I was supposed to do. They started helping. I used to talk about it, and people were worried. Did you say parents? And she's like, I don't know. We would wake up for midnight prayers with my parents. We pray. I could hear her prayers. She was like, Mari, please move the same direction. And I'm praying on the other side, beside Naya. I'm saying, Mari, make her understand. Up to a point where she was like, this is your purpose. You need to understand it. So thank you.
Yes, this is Ebenezer. Please, Oti Brains. Thank you. Thank you so much, Oti Brand, for partnering with us. This was amazing. To the guys, I don't know why you guys were just quiet, but like there were gifts for you, but you just decided to be humble in court. But I'm volunteering you soon. Now I'm going to give a minute to Oti Brand to just share what their brand is about, and then we round up. Guys, guys, we're not interested. Guys, I mean, come on. Please,
Drip.
Hey, what's up?
Like, there was something about confidence work, right? So I was just trying to show you. You showed us the girls or the ladies.
Thank you very much.
Build confidence for the guys. So I have a question. One question before I say what I want to say. Mostly to the ladies though. If you guys find it like you need to answer, it's so cool. You can just still answer. Ladies. Okay. Am I good looking?
What to do? What to do? That's affirmation.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, this good looking you see today is because of.
Woo! Dope!
Yeah, right here with the lotions, with the shampoos, with the coconut oil, with everything. So you can still be as good looking as I am. You guys, you ladies, I know you like to, feel the confidence whenever you walk in, everybody will be. Yeah. So you can, where you apply to this, hook up. You can see us on our Facebook pages. There's Oti Brand, Instagram. You can also find us in Nakwa Parade, Kona, Angwa, and Zundiga. And we also opened a new shop, just Chichu up in number 11, opposite Tuesday. So that's Oti Brand for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When you smell good, boost of confidence. So, what I self-care, what I said, my back what I said, the facials and all that, it really, really goes a long way. So now we want to get into a moment to just appreciate our panelists for taking time out of their hectic schedule.
Yes, man.
And just coming and sharing with us. So I am going to be presenting our gifts from OT Brand. And we have, like, OT Brand really did a thing, guys. There are thank you cards from OT Brand. Wow. They really did, I don't know, something beautiful. So the first one is to Theo.
Theo!
Okay, OT Brand, you may present the...
It's in the little things. No, but someone she loves my Instagram.
Up next, we have
The modern picture.
Thank you. Thank you. Up next, we have Wanda. What's up? Our destiny promoter. Yes. That's like the pointing arrow. People are wicked. That's not wonderful. Emily.
She understood the love like
What? And then finally, Nancy. Alright. Thank you guys. I want to thank, I actually wrote this down because the honesty, when appreciating people, sometimes also kakana, pay system. It's so sad, guys, truly. So I actually wrote this down. I want to thank Patrick, he's in the other room, they were venue. Food, they're outside, which reminds me, we are going to get food as soon as we close the session. And we network as well. We end up by time but please, those that helped with, I I'm sure you can tell our floors are clean and setting the chairs. Fungai and the most amazing, okay, that was Tabitha Cake. And everyone that posted this flyer, invited someone, just did anything, told someone about it, even though they didn't come. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate. And I want to thank my uncle who did all the flyers and all the branding for this event. Fantastic art. It's really, really amazing. Like, who banded it it's been there. So I really appreciate you. Every single person that has come, thank you so much for coming. I truly hope that, your life is transformed and there's reignition of the desire to walk in purpose. The media crew is amazing. Yes, please. Like, I really appreciate. Thank you so much. I love you so much. And to our panelists, once again, thank you. And then, like, there's the Holy Spirit after this one, but I'm just going to take a Snoop Dogg moment.
You want to thank yourself? High five, high five. I want to thank me.
Myself, obviously, for just working hard and for saying yes to God and to His direction in my life in the most humble way.
No, it's okay. It can be powerful. It's fine. Don't be apologetic.
Honestly, I'm so proud of myself. Like, I looked at this banner this afternoon and I said, I would want to have a child like myself. Like, sometimes I just think, okay, Consolata, you are goals. Like, in the most humble way, I repeat.
You don't have to be humble.
Okay, so Untitled also has something for me, which is really, really amazing.
No, it's okay.
Thank you, Untitled. I really want to thank you once again, Untitled. Thank you so much. So, like, just for me, working hard. Thank you so much.
Time to
all right.
network.
It's time to network. So thank you. We can all stand. I'm just going to say a short prayer, and then we take pictures and spam people over Africa Day and whatnot.
Right.
All right. So I'm just going to pray. I don't know if you want to hold hands with the person beside you, or if you want to close your eyes. Let's just do what you feel, works for you. Okay, Keith wants to join us. Please join us with Keith. Somebody, please join us. Thank you.
So can you? Thank you.
But please sanitize your hands before you eat.
Or before we eat. Or
before. All right, now I'm going to pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for today. Thank you that your presence is evident in our lives. Thank you, oh God, for the laughs, for whatever single thing that we learned today. Father, we pray that on the inside of us, you'd cause an uprising, oh God. Cause something to rise on the inside of us that causes us to not settle for save. That causes us to want to go forward in this purpose that you've called each and every one of us to do. Father, I pray in Jesus' name that everyone that is present in this place, Father God, may they be a city set on a hill that can never be hidden. May their light never be dimmed by anyone. I pray for destiny helpers, destiny connectors, destiny promoters, people that will catapult them into their destiny in the name of Jesus. I declare by the power of God, by the resurrection of power of God, that you, O Lord, are leading them and guiding them. That no weapons may be formed, but indeed they will not prosper. That whatever you say they will be, indeed they shall be. And that movement starts now in Jesus' name. I thank you, Father, and I pray for the protection of themselves, their families. I pray for their physical health, their emotional, mental health, in the name of Jesus. May you continue to pour into every single person that's in this place. May you continue to guide, Lord, that you will hold our hands as we go through this thing called life. That you continue to position us, strategically position us to win in purpose, oh God. I pray that today may be the beginning of something greater than ourselves, something that we can never explain, that every one of us goes and spreads the light at work, at home, at school, wherever we are. That our lights may shine forth in such a way that everyone begins to ask, who is this God that they serve? Who is this God that they follow? Let there be a mark of your presence in our lives from this very day going forward. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Let's sanitize. Let's eat. Let's get
I need your
take water.
Better ring light.
Okay.
Thank you. You can put it down.
Emily, just a minute.
Okay, so it's okay. Just.
So there's a series I want to do on YouTube,
Wait, I'm still.
You just exit, then you.
105. What's 105?
Is it the crack?
Ah, come on.
Because the moment you do that, he has to give you the saving option. No. Like, yeah, it's all going like, yeah, it's an air. Like, we're on a screen. Yeah, it's an air something like there's air between the cover and the.
Wait. Wait, my love.
Oh, I need. You can go exit like I'm trying to money.
What do you want to do? To end it. Okay. That's why she's okay. I think you can just. Okay. No, it's doing some tutorial thing. That's why it's okay done. Now you can cancel it. Hello. Okay. Are you sure you want to end your life? Wait, you wanna save it, please? Yeah? Let me see. No, let me just find out to save a life before you. She's doing. Wait, 2 minutes. Okay. Oh, it's after you've ended. That's when you can.